What is going on, you guys? It's your girl Diana, back at you with another YouTube video. So recently I have had a ton of very interesting information come across my Twitter timeline. I feel like this happens every weekend. So of course today I'm going to be going over all of the updated information that I have on Pokémon Home, Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, the Pokémon anime, and of course a couple of leaks that seem to have some merit. So if you're new here, make sure that you subscribe so that you're always up to date with the latest Pokémon news, and give this video a thumbs up so that we can push it out into the YouTube algorithm so that more Pokémon fans can see it. And if you would like another way to support the channel, please feel free to check out the merch store. There is a link down below in the description that takes you to not only my merch store, but also all of my other socials so you can keep up with what I'm doing on a daily basis. But let's go ahead and hop into the tea. Listen, when I tell you guys I have the tea, not only do I literally have the tea, I absolutely just burned my tongue on this by the way, but we have a ton of great information to go over. So I'm gonna start off with the more factually based information and save the leaks until last, since those are the most fun, but I can't disprove or prove that those are actually true. But supposedly these leaks are true. But starting off with Pokemon Home, we did recently get an update for Pokemon Home, and we just happen to have the patch notes so you know exactly what you're going to get if you haven't updated it yet. So in this latest Pokemon Home update, this is for the mobile version of Pokemon Home, like the app that you can put on your phone. This isn't for Pokemon Home on the Nintendo Switch, since they haven't updated that one yet, because we still don't have the connection for Pokemon Home to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They're taking their sweet time with that one, aren't they? But on the mobile app, they added online competition information from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you've linked Pokemon Home to a Nintendo account with data from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you'll now be able to view the results from official competitions and friendly competitions you've joined in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which there's actually a competition coming up shortly here, I think on the 9th. So maybe them adding this feature will aid any of you that were thinking about joining the latest competition. They also added the ability to view Pokemon natures from the Pokemon rating screen in the battle data feature. Okay, that's helpful. And kind of elaborating on the ability to view Pokemon natures, we also have a couple of notes. The first one being that you may view Pokemon natures in ranked battles from season 4 onward. It also says if a listed Pokemon had a mint used on it, the nature conferred by the mint will be shown, which that's actually a pretty big deal, because right now, even in the games, if you give a Pokemon a nature mint, yes, its stats will change and you'll see that reflected on the actual stats that are shown if you go to the judging feature. But if you look at the actual nature of the Pokemon, the nature that's shown is the Pokemon's original nature. So now in Pokemon Home, you won't have to worry about that, and you'll actually see the nature that's reflected in the Pokemon stats, which is honestly always helpful, and it does make a difference because of course, different natures change different stats. So if they have a nature that increases a Pokemon's speed, that's definitely some information that you would want to know. Or if they have a nature that's going to make them slower but increase their attack, also very helpful. So that's a big update, honestly. It makes sure that you stay in the know. It also goes on to say linking a Nintendo account is now required to use the mystery gift feature, and each mystery gift can only be claimed once per Nintendo account. So there's definitely some great updates that they added for the mobile app. However, of course, many people, me included, are still very annoyed that it's taking so long for them to add that Pokemon Home update to the actual Nintendo Switch version so that we can transfer old Pokemon into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Especially considering around this time is when the connection for Pokemon Home was available for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I can see why people are a little salty. But moving on to the Pokemon anime. So yesterday, episode 8 of Aim to be a Pokemon Master aired in Japan. And at the end of that episode, we had a new poster for the upcoming anime revealed, as well as a brand new trailer. And so here we have a picture of what the actual poster looks like, and we can see the introduction of a new character in the background with a Cerulege, which we do get a better glimpse of him in the actual trailer for the anime as well, but he's got like a split dye hair look, and it looks like his main Pokemon that he's going to be using is a Cerulege, which leads me to believe that somebody in this anime has got to have an Armarouge. They're obviously not going to show one and not the other. But we can also see that Professor Freed clearly has a Charizard, which is probably what he's piloting, I'm assuming, since he's supposed to be a pilot. And we also see a ton of other Pokemon in this poster as well. We see a Noctowl, a Metagross, a Snorunt. I see what looks like a Carkol, I believe, Chansey. We have a Alolan Muck, which is interesting. So we have a Lola Pokemon, which I guess makes sense since they're supposed to go across the world, but obviously there's a ton of different Pokemon, including some Gen 9 Pokemon like Little Palmy over here. And of course we have our starters and our brand new Captain Pikachu as well making an appearance. But so here in the actual trailer, I'm not gonna play the sound just because copyright, but we are given a little bit of insight into each of the characters' personalities. So like Liko seems to be more of a strong-headed and independent girl, since she's over here saying like, if I can't find something, I'm gonna go look for it myself. Whereas Roy seems to be more of like the comedic relief character, so love that dynamic. And then we have Professor Freed and Captain Pikachu, which he seems like a very like excitable character. I feel like he's gonna have a ton of energy and is going to just add that little extra flair to the anime. And look at how cute Spirigatito looks in this art style. This art style I love, by the way. I think it's great. And then of course, here is our new, he looks like maybe a rival. He definitely gives more like menacing vibes. So he's obviously a foe of some sort or a rival of some sort, because clearly they were having a battle with Spirigatito versus Cerulege. That matchup, girl, are you good? But maybe Freed was saving the day there since he seemed to be flying into the fight with his Charizard. But clearly they definitely packed a punch in this trailer. Like they showed a lot. They showed that Professor Freed has a Charizard. They showed the introduction of a brand new character that seems like he's going to be the antagonist in some sort of way, whether he's a rival or whether he's part of the evil team for this series, whatever, but he looks cool. I like his character design. And you know what I also just noticed right now, this second, as I looked at what I paused this screen on? You can literally see Rayquaza in the background, just chilling in the corner. Hello? So is Rayquaza gonna be in this show? We got everybody joining us. But the new trailer and the new poster definitely has me psyched for this series because I feel like it is gonna have a different vibe than what we've been getting with Ash and Pikachu, which is perfect because I think that they do need to go in a different direction if they are gonna be giving us new protagonists. So I really do hope that they give them like their own personalities and they're not just like copy and paste versions of Ash, because then at that point, what was the point of letting go Pikachu and Ash, you know? But I am definitely excited. I cannot wait for April. But so now that we've covered all of the factual information that we got over the past couple of days, it's time to hop into the juicy leaks. Which Central Leaks tweeted this out just the other day, and they said, Ku, the well-known Pokemon leaker, has confirmed this leak is real. Looks like the Switch 2 is coming. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop over to Riddler Ku's page just so that we can get it straight from the horse's mouth. So Riddler Ku actually responded to his tweet from November of 2022 before the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games came out, where he tweeted out this picture of Mega Evolution, Z moves, Dynamax, and Terastallization, which I already did a whole video kind of covering this tweet already, but he responded to this tweet again quite literally on March 3rd, so today's March 4th, so yesterday, and he said, since you were all spoiled with this, yep, Mega is the only one that's exclusive to a limited amount of Pokemon, while the others got both public and privilege facets on Pokemon selection. And then he attached this picture of the leak that he says is supposed to be true. And this person actually leaked what was supposed to be presented in Pokemon Presents, and basically all of it happened to be true. He talked about the 2 DLCs that had the exact same name that he tweeted out, and basically everything else in between that they went over. But so in this latest update that he gave after Pokemon Presents, it says, I'm not gonna leak any more information. I just wanna add some clarification to the previous one. The hexagon is not the 3rd DLC title, but an element that is displayed many times in the DLC. The special terrestrial appearance that I mentioned is a new game mechanic that was not announced in the Pokemon Presents. Some Pokemon will acquire new terrestrial forms. Sounds a lot like Megas or Gigantamaxes to me. And then he also goes on to say the new Switch model I mentioned is, I don't know what that says, but also, as far as I know, DLC 2 is scheduled to be released in early 2024. Other contents have already been announced. Sorry for the unclearness before. So according to this leak, supposedly we are supposed to be getting new terraforms as well as a new Switch model coming out. However, Riddler Ku does go on to clarify that the part about the Switch successor is not true, since this person here responded saying, hey, Ku, sorry to bother you, but so-and-so is spreading false information saying you confirmed a Switch successor. I know that is false. Are you telling us to focus on what you said originally just about the terraforms? And Riddler Ku responded with, not a surprise, as always, got used to it. And so other people are like, what does this mean? What are you trying to say? And so they're saying, so you are confirming this leak is real. So does that mean we're getting a second batch of DLC and a Switch 2 is coming? And Riddler Ku specifically says, focus on what we gave, which he is focusing just on the fact that we are gonna get new terraforms. So he's basically saying that having a Switch successor is probably fake, and that the DLC 2 announcement is probably fake as well, since they already announced part 1 and part 2 of the DLC, and part 1 is supposed to be released in fall of 2023, and part 2 is supposed to release in winter of 2023, which people have been like speculating and saying that this just means it's gonna come late. However, I don't really see that being a thing. I don't think that they were planning on making this big announcement and then being like, hey, just kidding, we're actually gonna release this super late, my bad. Especially since you can already pre-order the DLC, I feel like that's just a bad look. So I think what this leaker was trying to say is that there's going to be a whole completely separate DLC, like a 3rd DLC, which Riddler Ku is basically saying, no, that's not a thing. But what he is confirming is that we are getting new terraforms. And so people have gone on to ask, does a Pokemon with a specific special terrestrial appearance need to have a specific Terra type? And Riddler Ku goes goes on to clarify and say should go like this. So it looks like, according to what he's saying, not every single TERA type is going to get some kind of form change. It is only going to be for specific types, which I find that very interesting, and I wonder what types are going to have this appearance change. Because I feel like it's usually specific Pokemon that get appearance changes, not specific types. But I guess that kind of broadens the amount of Pokemon that do have access to this appearance change, just because some people are saying, I hope it's a decent amount of new TERA forms, and Riddler Coup does go on to say that it's pretty decent, so I guess that kind of makes sense, especially if they are going based off of type and not just specific individual Pokemon. But all of this made me think back to before Pokemon Scarlet and Violet released, and we had no idea what the terrestrial phenomenon was actually going to look like, and people were tweeting out different designs of what they thought that it was going to look like, and I feel like this form change is probably going to be really similar to like what people were tweeting out. Like this picture here that Nordis tweeted out, where it still has the same little like TERA crystal in the middle with the eyes, but like the entire thing is more elaborate than the hats that we're used to seeing. Like how cool is that? Imagine if Hatterene had an actual cute little hat on it that was made out of crystal, and not just like the ghost TERA hat with the generic little ghost sprite. And like look at Sudowoodo, he literally looks like a tree now. So if this is the kind of vibe that they're going for, I think that this is going to be a huge hit. But there you have it. That is all the information that I have for you regarding the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet anime, Pokemon Home updates, and what we might potentially be seeing in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. Now me personally, I'm usually a person that focuses on the facts, and I like to have evidence for things. So it's always hard for me to go based off of somebody's word just because they supposedly are always right. However, if these leaks happen to be true and we are getting new forms for specific TERA types, this is gonna be so cool. But leave a comment down below if you think that these leaks are accurate and what you think we might be seeing in the DLC. But hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and thank you to each and every single one of you who have joined the channel as members. I appreciate you all so much. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.